welcome to this lesson number 5 of this course for SketchUp. In this lesson we're going to learn how to create a basic studio with 3 banks of light using the vray rectangular lights. The 3-point lighting is the most basic and effective structure for a studio. We will build on this lighting model to take inspiration along the training. The key light or primary light is the main source of light and it has more intensity than the others. Its goal is to emphasize the shadow's direction. The secondary light is normally placed on the opposite side of the primary one. Because of this, it will illuminate the dark areas and will softly lighten up the shadows. The tertiary light or fill light is used to illuminate those areas that still remain in shadow. It is the background in this particular case. According to this hierarchy, you'll notice the lights don't compete against each other. The primary light will predominate the scene, supported by complementary lights. If you use them in their correct proportion, they will create a harmonious effect, given the tridimensionality of the final outcome. Let's create a simple scene and build a basic lighting studio with a 3-point illumination. We have a background created with a plane divided in 2 sections and joined by a curve. This is useful in the real studios to take photos and give a neutral sensation in the space. As always, create a generic vray material and apply it to the entire scene. Remember to use the median grey as in photography, which in SketchUp is RGB 186. Go to the camera view that we already have set. Before you render, load the test settings we have done previously. Make sure the sunlight is turned off and deactivate the environment, so we are not affected by any other light, only the lights for the studio. Let's go to camera and change the shutter speed value to 50 and keep the white balance as pure white. In Render Output, activate Save Frame to visualize the area we're going to render with the desired size indicated here. Now, go to the top view to position the vray lights we want. I'll make a copy of this light. Given that this light is a copy from the previous one, it will be an instance, so let's click on Make Unique to turn it into a single light. Once all the lights are in position, let's rename them according to the function each one will have in the scene. We will name this as primary light. The light on the left will be secondary light. And finally, the light behind our object will be fill light. When we are preparing to balance the light, the first thing we have to do is turn off all the lights and work just with one light at a time. Naturally, we'll start with the primary light as it's the lighting source. Assign a value of 500 watts and click Render. Remember to go back to the camera view to render what we really want. The light looks quite weak. Increase the intensity to 1000 watts and let's see what happens. Now it looks nice. We can make use of the history and frame buffer to see the input of every light separately. Now, turn off the primary light and work with the secondary one. Turn this light on. We're going to establish the units. Put 200 watts and let's render. Keep in mind the function of this light is just to brighten up the shadows a little bit. Because of this, it should be soft. Decrease the intensity to 100 watts and click render. Very good. Now it looks awesome. Turn on the primary and secondary lights to see how they look together. Great. It looks really good. Now, turn off these two lights and work on the fill light to illuminate the background that was kept in darkness due to the distance from the object. The intensity should be 500 watts and click render. We can do a test by increasing the intensity to 1000 watts. Don't worry if the intensity seems too much. The fill light will not invade the working area of the other lights. It won't even compete against them. Now, it looks that everything is going very well. Let's turn on all the lights to see the final lighting. The light balance is working really well. Now, to achieve a more interesting result, let's play with colour temperature of the lights to create a chromatic contrast on our object. Let's give a warm colour to the primary light with a temperature of 4500 Kelvin degrees. Remember to take as reference the temperature chart expressed in RGB values. It isn't necessary to be too accurate on this. Set a cold colour to our secondary light as 7000 Kelvin degrees. Again, look at the chart. Finally, we've done a chromatic contrast and now we're able to improve it as much as we want. As you can see, to have the lights listed in this way is a very productive way to edit the properties of each one quickly. It's a great advantage. All these steps can be completed by using the interactive render as well, to get a faster feedback, and it almost reaches the quality that a final image will have. If you own a CUDA graphics card with at least 1 GB of RAM, you can activate the GPU mode instead of CPU. The calculation will be faster. Thanks to the interactive mode, we can adjust the colour temperature a little bit more and know how this will affect our object. As you can see, any change we make on the scene will be updated automatically. Building a basic lighting studio is very effective and easy to understand. With these principles and chromatic contrast, you'll get more powerful and dynamic images. Go back to the production mode by deactivating the GPU and click Render. The more time you leave it to render, the more it will look sharp and perfect. See you in the next lesson.